lot of different instruments, and it's a lot of fun. You can have a lot of crescendos and a lot of pianissimos in there. It tells a bigger story. It's the branch, indeed, 44 wins for the Cubs, and now we got to take on the Brew Crew again, which is the Cubs' kryptonite. Soda Bridge. Kind of hard to do with one hand. In 200 years, will corn be considered classical music? I think we're missing an opportunity here to have a bicycle that is called a classical. But this right here is a classical. A classical. Are you cutting off everybody, bro? You know what? I can only think of that big wheeled front bike on the tiny back wheel on there. You look real classical riding that around. That's a classical. You got to have a top hat, and you got to do some kind of special gymnastics to even get that thing to move. Doctor, we have the patient prepped. We've got to remove this classical. Forceps, give me 2 liters of dioxetine. This is a dangerous medical procedure. Everyone's masked up. Everyone's wearing blue for some reason. I don't know why we can't have different colored surgeon gowns, but no, we got to go with blue. But that's a different point altogether. We're all prepped for surgery. We got the gloves on. We have a separate room for somebody else to put our gloves on. We got a vacuum sealed germicide area. The patient's all prepped, and they got blue on as well. And they've covered everything except for the area they're going to work on, and then they start working because they got to remove this classical from out of the patient's body in a hurry. Too sweet. Otherwise, this patient might have a problem with the being alive part. Very rare case. You got to call in Al. He's the surgeon who can handle this, obviously. And Al is he's got extreme pedigree from he has a doctorate from Harvard and Yale and Oxford, and also community college. Best one for the job. So Al comes in there, he's got his gloves on. Now I feel like Al is a little cooler than all the rest of the standard surgeons out there. So I think Al's going to be dressed in a different color. He's going to choose multiple colors on his gown, his doctor gown. World Cup soccer jersey. Classic Al comes in. He's the only one in the entire world who can handle the removal of a classical from a patient's body. World renowned, galaxy renowned, universe renowned. Doctor, we have the patient prepped. We have the classical isolated. Let's begin the procedure, sir. No big deal. I am Al. I am the best at this. Don't worry, the patient will be fine, perhaps, maybe. I give him a chance of some level. He may survive. He might die. He's got a very low chance of dying. He might die. He's probably gonna die. Let's begin. Forceps, clam, lemonade, give me a Big Mac, fries, extra Coke. Patient's bleeding in, unfortunately. It's a very rare condition. The patient's bleeding in. He has too much blood going into his body. But don't worry, Dr. Classic Al is on the job. Got to get that X-Acto knife in there and start slicing and dicing. And he's going to do up this classical julienne. This classical doesn't have a chance against Al. The patient will pop. The patient will pop. We got to worry about blood-borne pathogens, airborne pathogens, ground-borne crawling around on the ground pathogens. We got to worry about flying pathogens. We got to worry about creepy critter underground pathogens. I don't know what a pathogen is. There it is. I've found the classical. Let's have it removed really quickly. Let me get out my pocket knife. I have a multi-tool here. I'll plug it out. It's really not a problem for me. Now let's sew it back together, and he'll be fine now that the classical has been removed from his body. The bleeding in has stopped, and now he is bleeding out, unfortunately. So we're going to have to balance out his blood input-output levels. Give me 2 liters of Diet Coke and some saline injection blood level liquid stuff. Give me some H2O, give me some Xbox 2. I'm gonna need 3 grams of protein puke. It's some kind of buildup on your bones. You got some classic cow growing out of your knee bone. A little snippety snap, a little crickety crack, a little snap snip snip, and your knee bone is completely cured of the classiculius disordered syndrome disease. It's a farming tool. Some people are using the sickle, but those who are in the know, who need to chop down a bunch of wheat, they're using the sickle. It's got 16 blades. It's one-handed wheel. You have to watch your feet though. You gotta watch your ankles on this one. If you swing too hard, you might lose your knee even above the classicolitis that's growing on it. Classical in the traditional sense, such as classical music by Mozart, Chopin, Debussy, Tchaikovsky, also pronounced Tchaikovsky. Yes, classical in the classical sense is quite fancy. No, very snooty. That's a classical horse. It could be a theorem in mathematical formulas. Solve for X. Only kind of math I do is power bill math, where I try to figure out which other thing I can barely pay on so that the power bill's paid off. I'm not gonna do that joke. I'm not gonna do that joke. Not online. People will get sad. It's funny, but you don't get it. Could be a terrifying creature who lives in the mountainous woods. Beware the classical monster. He has a violin and he plays cymbals as well. Ooh, scared of him. Much evil in his heart he has. Yoda, good at Jedi, not good grammar. Also, he's the cookie monster. Scribbly get bake bacon, scribbly little bacon pie. Scribbly get scribbly.